Welcome back to Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. This week, roses are red, violets are blue, spooky is sweet, and how about you? That's right, we've got something a little different this week.
You may have never heard of a Halloween poet, but it's in the industry known as one of the finest jobs you can have. It's a job that takes a lot of guts, a lot of time, a lot of practice, and a lot of Halloween.
There's a lot more that happens on Halloween other than children getting candy and adults going through mazes. Many of the brightest intellectuals take what's happening, source it through their creative unconscious, and recreate it in melodic prose that allows us to understand what Halloween is. And these Halloween poets... These Halloween poets do just that.
Let's listen in.
Good morrow, gentlemen. Fair evening.
Haha, good to see you.
Wonderful to be here on this wonderful evening of friends and enemies.
Hey, yeah, how we doing? Is everybody good?
Yes,
wonderful.
very good.
Great,
Thank
and that's
you.
really great to meet a lot of you guys in person. I've read a lot
All
of
of
your
us
works.
in the same room? Are you kidding me? How exciting.
Good eve. Hello.
Oh, well, good morrow.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know that's listening, CAA and WME just finally came together, and during the strike, since they can't talk about actors, they decided to release the top 10 Halloween poets, and we're sitting down with 5 of them. The other 5 are just too spooky to contact, so we've got 5 here. These are some of the best. I look up to all of them. I'm one of them, and I look up to all the 4 of you so much for your poetry surrounding Halloween.
Yes, gentlemen, may I ask, how fared thee when thou lookst upon the Variety article that said top 5 Halloween poets of 2023? How fared you when thou rest their eyes upon that?
I dare
I
say.
think-
Oh, yes, please go ahead.
Well, I was just going to translate. So that means, how did you feel when you looked on the list of the top 5 poets? Again, it was a list of top 10, but as poets they like to shorten stuff. A haiku is 5. Why not make everything 5? I personally was stoked. I was absolutely happy to see my name and all of your names on there.
No, go right ahead, honestly.
No,
I'm
please.
not looking at
I'll dare say when nobody else has anything to say.
I was happy to drop in at number 2. I thought that was an incredible honor and a surprise. It's a job. It's a job. It's a good paying job, and it's shocking when you see yourself.
Union!
A union. I mean, the unions have been doing great work for us, and
They fought
Honestly,
so hard
and-
they fought so hard for our breaks. We get so many breaks now.
A Union 10.
We get a break for 364 days of the year.
I will say the poet union is one of the strongest unions that there is. We kind of have seasonal. We are in the seasonal contract of the poet union. It's a 40154. That's what our union number. Go 40154.
40154. And let me just say, I mean, because I was actually working during the time pre-union, and it was absolutely fucked up the way they were treating us. They were like, "Oh, you're a Halloween poet. Great. Can you write us an Easter poem?" No, the fuck, I can't write you an Easter poem. That's not in my. That's not what I do.
That's not.
You cannot do that.
We were. I don't know who else. Was anyone else writing during the pre-union time in here?
I was.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm talking to a legend here, of course.
We're
Number
talking.
1.
Yes.
We must go around.
We must go around. Unions really get me really crossed off, and I just need to take a sec on that. But please, let's get everyone.
Oh, you're
else
picking
done.
up your pen already. You're gonna write a poem about this, aren't you?
And I'm gonna write about it later in a Halloween type poem. I feel kind of like a skeleton right now, getting so
Well,
spooky.
he can't work right now because it's not Halloween. We'll get
so I
into
write
the
it
rules
down.
later.
Yeah. So
It's a
we'll
little-
introduce ourselves and we'll go over the rules.
Oh,
We'll
Can I-
introduce ourselves and
table.
then go over the rules.
Before we introduce ourselves, can I dare say?
Dare you well.
I dare say that usually the only variety I see is the variety of chocolates in a candy bowl. But when my partner told me to look at the magazine for Hollywood in a waiting room, I was surprised to find my name.
Thanks for filling us in.
Round robin, the tables go. Round it goes. Explain who you are. Round it up.
And a beautiful poem to get us kicked off. That was great.
Really good poems
And just
coming
a
through
sample
already.
of what we do.
That was Carl
Again-
Sandburg, I believe, right? Was that a Carl
Yes,
Sandburg
yours
poem?
was an original poem, and then theirs was a different poem altogether. Round, right?
Round the tables go. Let's introduce ourselves. Round the tables.
That's Carl Sandburg for sure. Yeah. Okay, well, my name is Peak Mossy Tomb, and I am a Halloween poet. I write poetry surrounding Halloween. That is my job. There's a couple different things. I write for movies. I write for books. I write for cards. I write for kids. I write for Instagram. There's a ton of different ways. I think this is such an important podcast and moment for the Halloween Poet Society to finally get some people listening and understand what we do, you know? So I'm really excited. Again, my name was Pete Mossy Tomb.
Fair evening, fair morrow, fair delicious, delicious candy. My name be Senator Robert of the Night. And my dear scribes, I myself am a Halloween poet. Now, I have worked in the industry for a long time. Our nation's top A-list celebrities call upon my visage during the times by which October 31st clock strikes midnight. That is when I descend on the houses of the Halloween A-listers, for they request me. And what makes it Hollywood is that they are stars, and I am there as well. So, yes, I am a Halloween Hollywood poet.
Now, Senator, I just wanted to clarify because I know, but maybe it might be nice to describe to the listeners. Your first name is Senator, or you're an actual senator?
I get this a lot. It's a family name. And
A family first
name.
name. Yeah.
it's
Well,
a
then
family first name.
you might not have seen how it is spelled. It's spelled as in the sin of the flesh, Sinator.
It is a creepy spelling. It's a
Senator.
scary
Oh.
spelling.
And round the tables we go.
And they censored it on the Variety article because your name was too scary.
They censored it. They put a picture of
Well, they
Cole
censored
Sprouse
a
over it.
lot of things on that article.
Yeah, they covered it.
They
in
couldn't
pictures
release
Cole
most of our
Sprouse.
poems.
So many
Most
pictures
of our
Cole
poems are quite
Sprouse.
lewd.
I'm crying. Hello, round the tables we go. I am She Edgar, She Allen, She Poe. Yes, I'm a girl. I'm a girl Halloween poet. Woohoo! They're round and round. So glad to be on the list representing the she poets.
Oh, my goodness. Of course, you were the one who wrote, "Quoth the raven, nevertheless she persisted."
Yes, yes, I did. That was mine.
Yeah, you
Mine-
wrote The Monkey's Purse, right?
Yes.
Yes, the monkey's purse that she can't put down.
You also, did you not write, I want a female werewolf for president?
Yes, yes, I am a fan of dear Edgar Allan Poe, and I am a fan of the female gender.
And I loved, I mean, if I could fan out for a second, I haven't read too much, but I loved Slender Woman. That was great.
Slender Woman.
Well, Slender Woman, parentheses, Slender Woman. Is what you
Yes,
said.
thank you for clarifying.
She
That
Edgar,
was
or
quite
Sheedger,
a,
if you will.
a horny poem.
Yes, I'm a horny little girl at the age of, I should say, 18.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Thank God.
When you said little girl, I got really scared.
But, yes, you can call me She Edgar.
Is it
She
She
Allen,
Edgar
She
or
Poe.
Sheedger?
It's not Shedgar, it's not Sheeger, it's She Edgar.
Thank you. I've
Or you
only
can call
ever
me by
seen it
my
written.
birth name. Or you can call me by my birth name, Opal.
I think I'll stick with She Edgar.
Okay.
I've known you as She Edgar. I'll call you She Edgar. Of course.
Round the tables we go.
Well, coming in at number 2, I am Mikey Bamonte. I am basically, you may not heard of me, but I'm just a working Halloween poet. You're going to see a lot of the classics, a lot of kind of the blockbuster Halloween poems. That's going to be the things that I'm working on. The Happy Pumpkin, the Skeleton Dance at Night, things like this that we all know and see. Frankly, I appreciate all of your work. To me, it's just a job. This is a great way to feed my family, feed my kids. Halloween poems have done a great thing putting food on the table. And
How many kids do you have, fair
I
sir?
have 4 kids. I have 4 children.
Wow.
Benny, Betty, Alex, and Mikey Jr. If you wanted to know, but that's their names.
I did want to know. That was actually
course.
fantastic. And that's what I really resonate with your work is that, you are going for this big kind of commercial market type of poems, and you kind of do choose the same kind of subjects every time. It just feels like you're basically doing the same poem over and over again. But I liked it because it's almost a different take on the same thing, like a pop song.
There's structure to these things. There's books and books about the structure of these Halloween poems, and people try to divert.
So many books. So many books.
So many books.
And I
listen,
disagree with all the people calling you a sellout. I think they're
Yes.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do Halloween poems for people who don't indulge in Halloween poetry. That's a huge market.
we're not all gonna write Spirit Fantastica. We're all not gonna write that. That was a piece of art, and everyone thinks like, oh, they didn't do that rule in Spirit Fantastica. I don't care. You're not gonna. I'm sorry to get mad, but you're not gonna make Spirit Fantastica. So call me a hack.
I would
call me
I would say the only thing that is a bit frustrating to me is that you received number 2 on the list. You do not claim to be a Halloween poet for the spirit of Halloween.
It's kind of like the Marvel movies getting the best, top 100 films ever made.
No, no, I disagree. I think you're like the Joel Osteen of Christianity as to Halloween poets. You speak to the masses.
I think you're the Dua Lipa of Halloween poets.
How so?
Mine makes sense. Yours doesn't.
In the way that she is making music for the girls to dance to, for the maidens to say, aha, what fun, a Halloween poem, I haven't heard this before.
Mikey, what is your most famous poem, if you mind me asking?
My famous poem, the one that it was probably the biggest blockbuster sex, was just The Happy Pumpkin. I wrote it was my college thesis, and it was immediately picked up right out of college. And I had some great people, some great older poets that, kind of sent the elevator back down, brought me up with them.
I would say that is one of the most unknown things about Halloween poets, how much time the older ones spend with college students.
That's why we are
spend a
so
lot of time.
Big. Yes.
Oh, yes,
We spend a
every
lot of
weekend
time with
I
college
spend a
students.
day at Yale and a day at Harvard.
It's
just
the only
sort
work
of
we can do.
scoping out the talent.
We're gonna get into the union rules later.
But I'm glad. I'm glad
We
we all
will.
do
We
that.
will.
I spend 2 days at university, 1 day at a pumpkin patch.
And around the table we go.
Round and round.
Hark! 'Tis I, Sir Dennis Gravestone, known by many as the author of the poem Before Thriller, as recited by Vincent Price. Yes, I'm the one. It is I. I have written the poem we all know. That is correct.
And congratulate. It's an honor that you even joined us on this call.
Absolutely.
It is an honor to be here on this spookiest of nights. A night
The
where we
most
speak of-
famous, the most famous scary Halloween poem that didn't have anything to do with Halloween, funnily enough. It was actually Thriller for Michael Jackson, which I don't think came out around Halloween at all.
Well, it certainly, you can't tell that to a DJ on Halloween Eve, can you? Because it's playing then. It doesn't matter when Christ was born. We celebrate Christmas on December 25th. I don't understand what you're going after me about. And trust me,
I'm not
my
going
boy,
after you. No,
my
sorry.
boy, if you think you're going to catch me, I worked with Michael Jackson and I'm still here. So don't think that I aren't ironclad, because I know what I'm up to. You better be up to what you're up to, because I'll come after you.
I'm sorry, what? What are you saying?
Is that a threat?
It was
No,
a
no.
Is
threat,
that a
but
threat or
also
a poem?
No, I think it was a
Oh,
poem.
the classic game of Halloween
Threat or
poetry.
poem?
Threat or poem.
And this
But
is
yes.
and this is in a lot of the books. The best poems have a threatening aura
Yes.
to them,
Yes.
if not a direct threat in its own.
A little bit
Yes.
about me. I am a member of the silent generation, Joe Biden's era. I was born in 1931.
Nothing silent about that generation, am I right?
Well, certainly.
Maybe Mitch McConnell. Am I right?
I think he's
So
a boomer.
round and round.
I was
these
How much
fucking
did you pay for your
Republicans.
house? $40?
I was given my house on a handshake and a promise that I wouldn't kiss his wife. Listen, I have had many supernatural experiences. At 4 years old, I had an experience that caused me to become a Halloween poet right then and there. Back then, we weren't going to school. Halloween poets left in the 5th grade, and they went straight to work. we couldn't afford it. I had to
This was
write
before
Halloween
the union.
poetry. This was before the union. Many across my period of life, I have been given awards left and right. Many call me Edgar Allan Poe if Edgar Allan Poe was Polly. That's my title. And I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. With a she Edgar, she Allan, she Poe as well. Isn't it funny how the tables have turned?
Well, he is our Meryl Streep.
He certainly is.
Now round the table we go.
Well, this is an interesting question. I mean, I think we have two directions here. We can either talk about union rules or hear everybody's best poem. That's, I think, the two directions we got here.
Young
and
boy, is there not time for both?
Is there not time
For
to trick or
The
treat?
night be young and the cats be black. Don't scare them now, they'll arch their back. Hee!
Yes.
Maybe
What
we
I
have
would say,
time?
the union rules are the trick, and the poems are the treat.
That's a great idea. Let's
Okay.
start with the trick and then go on to the treat. I think it's a great idea.
It's like putting a pill in the medicine of a dog for peanut butter.
I mean, technically, you're supposed to get trick or treat, but I'm fine with anything. I'm not going to push it.
Dear listener, stick around.
Except, of course, we're standing next to, of course, Edgar Allan Poe, who wrote Trick and Treat. And that-
Oh, yes,
Thank
I
you.
forgot.
That was
Because
crazy.
she should have both.
Dear
Amen,
listener,
sister.
dear listener, stick around for the poems, the tricks, and the treats abound.
How do you all entertain your October, our busiest month of the year?
Oh, I'm swamped. Swamped left and right. I get so many messages per day. A bat brings them to me. And it's messages from famous people Leonardo DiCaprio wants a poem about pumpkins. But later in the afternoon, Brad Pitt wants a poem about a black cat.
So do you ever hear-
drop everything.
Do you ever hear what these celebrities are doing with these poems for you? Because it seems like, what are they going to do with...
They won't tell me. They won't tell me. They simply, when I go into their house, there is a strict procedure when you're working with these A-list clients. You enter their home, blindfolded. They direct you into the poetry room, where you will recite a Halloween poem to them, and they're wearing robes, and you cannot see them. Then you sign a strict NDA, and then you are scooted out. But sometimes you can hear what's going on. Like one time I read a poem about a Snickers candy to Meryl Streep. And I could hear her nibbling on a turkey leg the whole time before I was kicked out. So you never know what they're up to. But I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. Strike from the record.
Oh,
I-
stricken.
I performed a Halloween poem for Betty Davis that scared her right to death. I killed her.
Oh.
And that's why, I mean, I know that we're talking sort of history here, but that was a big reason why we started getting unions of,
Yes.
how scary
Yes.
can poems be. We couldn't just let artists be going as scary as they wanted to, because there was really, in about, what was that, when did Betty Davis die? It's around the time that it would have been.
Betty
Yes.
Davis died in, I believe, the 80s.
I think it was 19 Betty Davis died that day.
It was around 19 Betty Davis' death year. It was a record spike in Halloween poem-related
Yes.
deaths, so, there was a lot of... 1, which was more than there had ever been.
Unprecedented.
Oh, right. To go from 0 to 1, the scale is crazy. If your scale is 2.
100%.
Yes, and it was a tragedy. Speaking of poem or threat, I mean, young Halloween poets were being stopped in school for writing because they thought they were threats, to schools and to just, they thought these kids were demented. But no, they were artists and they were Halloween poets. So that's when the union stepped in.
Now, and I'd like to make an important distinction that the union has declared that I think is really good. We are not gothic poets. We are not emo
We
poets.
are not.
We are Halloween poets.
And
so
every
you don't
year-
need to be scared of us. We don't need to be on a watch list.
Every year we have emo, screamo, goth kids kind of trying to get into the union with their poetry, and it's just not gonna work, okay?
Here's the distinction. Spooky isn't sad. Spooky isn't emotional. Spooky isn't depressing. Spooky is spooky. And that's
There's
it.
nothing scary about your girlfriend breaking up with you. I'm just gonna say it. There's nothing
Thank
scary.
you for saying it.
My daughter's been getting into a lot of these, going to like Halloween poem open mic nights, and I support.
Oh, we all
And-
had to go.
and
That's where we started.
You have
I'm in-
to pay your dues.
You have to pay your dues. You have to buy your spooky pumpkin drinks, and oh my god, I'm sitting in the back biting my fucking tongue. Last time I went, I shouted out, "Not spooky!"
At
That's
your
right.
daughter or to the others?
My daughter is actually getting great spooky poems. She's been doing a fantastic job.
Oh,
she's
good.
she's
What's
PAing
her-
on my next poem.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's really exciting.
It's great. She's keeping the environment nice and spooky and foggy. She's getting me water if I need one. It's really great work, and she works really hard.
Does she have a Halloween muse yet? Has she kind of chosen her Halloween muse that she kind of circles around every year,
She always talks about Shiga, Shialam, Chipo.
Oh,
You are an inspiration
that's
to my
wonderful.
daughter. She's got a
That's
poster
wonderful.
of you up on the wall.
Oh,
that's
what's the
so
poster
sweet.
look like?
It's because you try to get off the image that you're sort of vampiric in that way. So it is a blank poster, but it has her name on the bottom.
That's it. That is it. Oh, that is so kind because I love that you speak of the differentiation between Gothic poets and Halloween poets. And I mean, my dear mentor, or I like to say mentor, even though I've never met him, Edgar Allan Poe, was Gothic fiction and did poetry. But I will say, I believe, was a part of the early movements of Halloween poetry, and he didn't even know it.
He's
he was
Jean
sowing
Paul
those
Sartre
seeds.
to nihilism. He
was not
is
aware.
the guy who made it and didn't even want to be part of it.
Yes.
was.
It's he's
sort of
kind
the Dua Lipa to.
Yes,
Yes, exactly.
Yes, the Dua Lipa.
the Dua Lipa to future pop music. I guess maybe that
Ex-
would work.
I would like to mention, I do believe every Halloween poet, in my day, every Halloween poet became one because of a spooky experience that changed them forever. I was wondering if all of you had one that maybe
Yes.
started you on this path. For me, my
Definitely.
father left us on Halloween, but he was dressed as our mother, so it was spooky.
What a spooky misunderstanding.
It was very
he
strange.
left dressed as your mother.
He drove away dressed as our mother, and he left the house. Never came back. And we said, "Mother is gone." And we walked in, and Mother was there. And she said, "No, that's Father." But she was dressed like Nixon. It was very strange.
It sounds
See?
like it was on Halloween. It sounds
It
like this
was.
happened on Halloween.
It
So
was.
they
It
were
seems
just dressed in
less
costumes.
spooky and more confusing. Why didn't you go into confusing poetry?
Confusing poetry is so hard to get into. It's so.
So, I mean, talk about union hours. Talk about a
And
thing
it's
with
hard to-
union hours.
Those guys are mean. We
Yeah.
gotta say those guys are mean.
And
I
none of
agree.
them are she's.
And they're so
Yeah.
alt. It's like they look down on you and you can tell that other people are snapping at the poem, but you don't
Yeah.
know why.
But
Every
also,
poem
it's
is-
like
Along.
it's also like you go and you watch a confusing poem, and they only are happy that the confusing poets in the back of the room like the poem, and it's like, hey, dude, there's like 80 of us here to watch you, and you don't even care that we like it.
Yes.
Halloween
I don't
poetry
know
is for
why.
everybody. You can put it on the back of a
Yes.
candy corn bag. It's that accessible.
I don't understand why there's so much more money in Halloween poetry versus confusing poetry. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way
I mean,
the Twix breaks.
Confusing poetry has a chokehold on the beginning titles of movies. You know, before you see a movie, you see a confusing poem that come up that really resonated with the director. So that's kind of how they get their money. I was going to say, has anybody... yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna, to give some credit to Halloween poems, at the beginning of Top Gun, there was at one point a Halloween poem at the very beginning.
Thank you for saying it.
And that was a big win for us. We almost got it in the director's cut. They cut it out.
What was it again?
But speaking of Halloween, what was it?
I have the a cell of it on my wall in my office to just remember, all the potential, the height of what Halloween poems can do.
Yes.
And so it was Top Gun was starting. You hear the sound of airplanes, taking off on there, and it said, "Jack-o'-lantern smile, skeleton bones, witches are cackling. Nobody knows that Halloween is tonight." And then the movie starts.
Yeah, they needed
Jet
to cut
comes
that.
in,
It makes sense.
Jet flies in.
The jets fly and they don't know
it would
it's
have been
Halloween.
so good if they kept it.
It would have really been great. I mean, because that's what you don't know about Top Gun. What they cut in such a late version is everything takes place over Halloween.
Yes, and you don't know that. It's just a little secret. But speaking of the Halloween for the masses, that's you, Mikey. That's you written, Mikey. That's you written all over it. So what about you? Do you have a poem that a spooky moment that influenced you?
So I was working really hard with one of my many
job, yeah.
But I was really trying to find my voice. Even though there's books, I'm reading all the books. I'm going to college courses. I'm taking master classes. There's so many things that I'm doing to kind of just like work on my form. And I'm talking to Francis Ford Coppola, who did do a small stint in Halloween poems. I don't know if you guys know about this.
He did, yes. I got him into it, and I got him out of it.
That's good. And I wish he had stayed. I was there.
No, he couldn't have stayed. I can't tell you why, but he couldn't have stayed.
Okay.
Sometimes you drink the juice too hard, and it's a chokehold on you.
Well, let's just say you've seen Heart of Darkness. You saw what happened to him in Apocalypse Now. Imagine that, but in a haunted house in rural Vermont. Imagine that.
I can't really imagine what that would be like, but I'm excited to try. I'm excited to try later.
You're a poet. Use your brain. Keep going, Mikey.
So he locked me in a grave for about 4 weeks.
Sounds like Frank.
No.
Sounds like Frank.
Sounds like Frank. He said, "Do you want to be a real Halloween poet? I will show you." And he locked the door of a giant grave. And I stayed there for about 4 weeks, and in that, I wrote some really fantastic poems. Like everything clicked. He's sort of like a math puzzle. It all kind of clicks together in this beautiful sort of symphony of Halloween poems. And from that point on, it was perfect. I was sitting there next to several dead bodies, and everything kind of fell into place. A very spooky experience that kind of taught me everything that I know.
That's Francis. Wow.
Yeah,
Locked you up.
And I write him a letter every year thanking him so much for that experience.
So you wrote a lot of your beginning poetry just right on the wood of the tomb right there. Is that kind of...
I did. I had that tomb demolished to keep the pieces for myself. I don't know where the bodies went, but I do have the tomb. And I keep it in my office to remember where I've come from.
Oh, yeah, you keep the whole tomb in your office. That's
I
great.
keep sort of the walls of a tomb in my office.
Do you ever just find yourself getting into it? Ever just, if you need any, inspiration around this time?
No, it's incredibly haunted. I bleed and I bleed.
Oh, you
Oh, if you get near it, you bleed. Got it.
you
Yeah.
bleed.
Yeah, no, I've seen a couple
No, I
tunes like that.
understand. Well, I got into it a very funny way because you guys know most of my work. I'm a Halloween poet, but I make my money, believe it or not, I make my money with Halloween poetry, and I also make my money. Every nail polish brand has me name their black and dark colored nail polish brands.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that's kind of how I got into it because I was young, and my friend Samantha put black eye nail polish on her eyes, and it was so spooky. I said, "Spooky of the night, it crawls." And believe it or not, a brand rep for Sephora happened to be walking by, and she goes, "Oh my God, that is the name of that nail polish if I have ever heard it." And so the
Hey,
way
She
I
Edgar,
started
can I
writing,
just hold on? Can I just clarify?
Yes.
So you're on the street
She's putting nail polish on her eyes?
We did what young girls did. She was
What?
12, I was 13.
You were in public. Why was she putting
Yes.
nail polish on her eyes?
Because it was the season of the young witches. We were
Okay.
girls, and we were being spooky, because that's what our spirits wanted, right? So we're playing with nail polish, as girls do.
Sure.
And she's painting her eyes, and I went, Samantha, don't do that. Then she did it. I was so spooked out of my mind, I said, she crawls of the night, it does. And that's when the Sephora brand rep walked by. We connected each other, and that spooky interaction started my writing from there on.
And where's Samantha now?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Oh, that is so funny. Samantha is a mommy blogger.
Oh. And she can see?
What, do you think she
can see?
She was not the
I
spooky
just-
one. She was the
Well,
weird one.
I just didn't think you should put nail polish in your eyes. I was worried about
Yes, no, she's ill and sick.
Oh, she's ill and sick mommy blogger. I follow her. I
Ill and
love
sick
her
mommy
stuff.
blogger. She
Ill
does,
She's
and
always got a
sick. I
cough
know
or a
her.
cold.
I love her journey. Anytime I need a pick-me-up or a good giggle,
yes, but that's
I
fine.
Yes.
feast my eyes on sick and ill mommy blogger.
Senator, what about you?
I was reading Rupee Kaur in the dark, and I got
Terrifying.
and I got really, really scared. So I went to the first poetry reading I could think of, which was for me in a pumpkin patch, as most Halloween poets start out. And it all just sort of fell into place for me. I realized though I loved Rupee's work, I thought that Rupee's work is so spectacular. It didn't touch on the sort of human experiences that I go through, the ones related to carving a pumpkin, the ones related to a cold breeze, the ones related to sort of a scary black cat back arched in the night. And so I went home and I worked and I studied and I honed my craft, and here we are. It happened in a similar way. I was just practicing, just shooting the shit, just sort of freestyling poetry, as we do in a lot of Halloween poets like to freestyle. I don't know how you guys feel about freestyling.
It's definitely really like goblin, ghost, goblin, ghoul, goblin, ghost.
It's sort of scatting. It's goblin, ghost, Frankenstein, spooky, 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 New York, and what do you know it? But Lily Collins was walking by, and she heard my poem.
She heard your scatting.
She heard my scatting, and she said, "Why, sir, that is fantastic. I would like to give that to my father, Phil Collins."
Collins started your career as a Halloween poet?
Yes, by way of his Nepo baby. And I was passed along through all the greats of Phil Collins' contemporaries, Paul McCartney and the like. And then, what can I say? I'm an establishment on the scene, and I'm an old fart now.
Yeah, that is wonderful. I love that Lily Collins got you into that. You just found a different way, you know? And I love that both of you got famous for kind of doing obscene Halloween-esque things on the street. It's great.
Well, what are we
You
if
have
not?
to start on the street.
Halloween starts on the street.
I do
Were you
think
guys ever Halloween poet buskers? Did you ever busk on Santa Monica Pier?
We should talk about all of our side hustles. I mean, there's
Yes.
so many ways to use this talent for different things. Busking, I see so many Halloween
many.
buskers out
Yeah.
there.
Well,
I've seen
With
them
the
getting
jack-o'-lantern
fights.
hats.
And you know who doesn't
Oh, yeah,
make
the
money?
territory.
Christmas buskers. They can't make a dime.
no,
No,
they kind of
'cause they're
they get Hallmark movies written about them, but they
But
don't
it's
get
not-
any
it's not
residuals.
spooky. We work at night, and they during the day, maybe. I don't.
Well, this actually plays into how I got into it. My parents were shot outside of a movie theater, so I had two choices. I could go Batman or I could go spooky poet, Halloween poet. And I started, I just went, I'm going to go full into Halloween Poet. I can't do Batman. I cannot do this whole Batman thing. So I bust on the street a lot, and that's kind of where I ended up, how I ended up here. I'm really happy and really excited.
And what a spooky event. Your parents getting shot outside a movie theater. That's just incredibly fucking spooky, man. That's insane.
Very
I mean, spooky, but almost a little sad. How did you not become sad poet?
It was touch and go for a couple years there, I'll be honest. A lot of my poetry was both spooky and sad. A lot of
that doesn't
metaphors.
work,
and
though.
it doesn't work.
No.
No,
Never
it's like
twain shall
Haunting of
meet.
Hill House. Choose a lane. Choose a lane, Haunting of Hill House.
And
you
get
know?
some-
Like a
Something
joke
going-
with 3 punchlines.
Yes. It's like any Mike Flanagan thing. Do something in the first episode, please. Why are you hoping and waiting for us to figure some? Why do you think I'm going to stick around through this? You know what I mean,
Flanagan,
It's a
I'm
lot of
begging.
promises in the last 5 minutes.
Mr. Flanagan.
Thank you, Mr. Flanagan.
I'm begging you, figure out a more interesting way to handle exposition, Mr. Flanagan.
Oh, Sir Gravestone, you are a legend.
Oh, please, I'm no legend. I'm practically a ghost. I do feel the ghosts call me every evening to die. Every dream, I see
They
hundreds of
request
people.
you to die?
They say, come
They
come
ask you
on.
to die?
Please die.
Come on already.
I have these dreams where I go to sleep and all the people that I know that are dead are hanging out. And it's almost like I walk in late and I always miss an inside joke. And they're always go, well, if you were around more, and I would say, I'm alive. And they said, well, you know.
How long
You
have
should
these
die.
dreams been going on?
The dreams go on, well, they've been going on for about 8 years.
Oh,
Ever since I turned 80 years old, they've been going on. And it's
So you're
really
88.
annoying, actually. I show up and they all go, uh-oh, guess who's the Goonga, or whatever they say. And I say, what does that mean? And they say, oh, you should have been here, would have made up the term. It's really annoying, actually. It's, like, really annoying. It's beginning to be so annoying. I'm kind of like, if I die, I'm probably not even going to hang out with you guys. That's kind of how I feel.
oh.
Do you guys ever get that Halloween poet dream where you're standing on stage and you can't remember what you used to describe a jack-o'-lantern?
Oh,
What your
here's my
euphemism for a pumpkin is?
Here's my Halloween poet dream. I dream that I'm standing on stage, but the candle in my jack-o'-lantern has been blown out.
oh. Here's my Halloween poet dream. Nightmare, if you will. I'm standing there and I'm trying to find a Halloween poem, and it's St. Patty's Day.
Oh, goodness.
Oh!
Absolutely.
Terrifying.
painful.
Absolutely.
I would
My
say that's the only
Halloween
holiday
night-
that has real poems, by the way. Anyways. So we don't touch that.
My Halloween nightmare is there's a cat on stage, and right when I say, and it has the arched back, the back doesn't arch. It's just a simple cat. Does anyone get this one?
Chills
I
down
have
my
received
spine.
that dream.
Yeah.
I've seen full careers die with things like that.
Oh, my gosh.
How? You've seen just people have that dream over and over again and it kind of spooks them out of the
Not the
business.
dream, no, the real reality. I've seen it before.
Yes.
And if that
yeah.
happens during a showcase, they take you out back to pasture.
Because everybody in their college showcase wants to bring some sort of extra element. In my opinion, the poem should be enough, but they bring props. They bring all this bullshit. They wear costumes.
We should
yes.
we should talk about, if you're trying to go to college for Halloween poetry, the most overused Halloween poems that people do to get into
yes.
college.
Oh, their college audition.
Yes.
In the recitation section of the
Yeah.
audition, because there's the original composition and then the recitation.
And the recitation.
And then the Shakespeare.
I will
And
say,
then the Shakespeare.
in the Shakespeare, I will say, I'm just a ghoul who can't say boo. Stop singing that song.
Oh my
Stop
fucking
singing
God.
it. Stop. We've heard it. Everyone's done. I'm just a ghoul who can't say boo. Truly. Stop it.
Please, and you know what you need to stop doing in the reciting area of the audition? Dear Evan Hansen, zombie. the
Dear Heaven Dancing Zombie is overdone. It's
Oh, are you?
If I hear one more person say, waiting in the window brains, I'm going to scream.
I've heard it. So I've heard it translated as graving boo a window.
Now, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard
Yes.
that. That's good.
Well, that's a different translation. It's an older translation.
But what I
yes,
said,
the Latin text.
but what Mikey
Any-
says is good. Oh, sorry, what?
I'm just saying anything by Spooky Man Platt is just off the table.
Absolutely.
Just
You don't
too
want to touch
spooky.
it.
Too
It's
old.
overdone. Too old.
Too old.
Too old. Halloween poems move fast. You know what I'm talking about? This is a rapidly changing industry.
Absolutely.
But I think what you said is really important because a lot of spooky. There's so many Halloween poets trying to get their start, and I think they're just dying to make themselves look very unique, like you said, Mikey. And I mean, I made mine. I love my career and I love my body of work, but I do regret being so girl power heavy in my early days. I mean, you can't
So in your early days of, you were, what, 15, 16? Around
yes,
there? Or-
yes,
Okay.
my early days, yes. And it's just, I think if I talked to my young Halloween poet self a couple years ago, if I got to talk to her today, I'd say, just go straight to the pumpkin. Just go straight to the moon. Go straight to what you find spooky, and you'll find yourself later.
Exactly. You can't, people think they can walk in here and do Dead Ghoul's cell phone. You can't do that yet.
No.
You have to wait. You
Oh,
have to
Dead
earn
Ghoul's
your
cell phone.
stripes.
Yes.
Give us a little lick of Dead Ghoul's cell phone.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard it 1,000 times when we're reading and
Yes.
reviewing students.
It's by Sarah Gruel.
Sarah Gruel.
Gruel like a spooky food. Yeah.
Once upon a midnight time, I knew people who had died. Bleep, bleep, the iPhone rings. Shall I hear my person sing? I could do it in my sleep.
Yes.
It's tired.
It's exhausting.
It's tired.
You know, my
Get out
nephew applied for a program, and he auditioned with The Tomb Where It Battened, and it was very, very not good because it was rap.
Interesting choice, though.
Yes.
Interesting
The
choice.
tomb where
And it
it
wasn't good.
No, because it was rap, and you shouldn't rap your audition. Truly,
Rap
unfortunately.
and Halloween poetry might as well be apples and oranges.
And
We
we
don't
tried.
wanna
We
see-
tried.
It happened one time. It
One
happened
time.
One time. Jay-Z's verse in Monster by Kanye
Oh!
West.
Yes.
That is Halloween poetry at its finest.
Yeah.
It was
Really?
It blew the whole union's head off when that happened.
I'd say that whole song is Halloween poetry.
Well, no.
I will say though,
this is a-
Jay-Z's part is specifically listing ghouls and goblins and things that happen at Halloween.
And
so
I
I think
would
that is
say-
the most best verse.
Jay-Z's is the only one that's recognized as Halloween poetry, and I was in the union when we tried to get Nikki to agree because everyone only remembers Nikki's verse from Monster, and we said, "Please, Nikki, this would be big for us," and she said, "I don't give
See,
a fuck."
but that's what the industry does to young female Halloween poets. And I hate that.
Sure.
They put her in a corner and they said, boo.
But not a scary boo, a mean boo.
Well, let's just.
mean,
and
Because there's great booze.
Great.
I-
booze.
let's.
There are good booze and there are bad booze in this
You know,
industry.
when you walk off on a good set and everyone's saying boo in a scary way, that feels good. Damn,
Oh,
that
do
feels
you
good.
guys-
Oh, that feeling, it is like heroin. It is like spooky heroin.
Everyone going boo.
Boo!
Do you guys
When
have
they're saying
agents? And,
boo, bad.
do you
Well,
guys
let's
have
just
agents and
really quick,
managers?
or before.
But then
yes.
I gotta say, I watch a lot of the live stuff, and people kind of like push for the booze. You know, they're like, "I got promoted at work today." Boo.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's a little pandering when you go for. There's something called the low hanging pumpkin, and that's what you want to avoid when you're doing live stand up open mic spooky sets. Like,
And my people, they call it bouplaws. Don't go for bouplaws.
Don't talk about a bat's wing size being small. You can be more creative.
I think just for a second, maybe we break down Jay-Z's lyrics because it was a profound moment. I mean, just these first four lines:
I'm so glad you said it, Mikey.
Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong, Loch Ness,
Oh,
Goblin, Ghoul, a zombie, with no conscience.
No conscience.
With no conscience. Oh,
Question: what do these things all have in common? Everybody knows.
knows.
I'm a
I'm
mother
a
monster.
fucking monster.
And what do all these things have in common? What do all of these things
I
have
am
in
a
common?
monster.
I'm a
I'm a
motherfucking
motherfucking
monster.
monster. What
Your
a way
answer
to say
is
fuck
I'm
you.
a monster.
What a way to say these are all these spooky things. Just kidding. I'm a monster.
And it's a classic. Once you know the rules, you can then break them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's someone who's mastered his craft.
It's and these are the things you read in books. This is an unreliable narrator we're talking about because he's listing monsters, but then you learn as you're listening that he himself is a monster. So who
And it's
can you
also-
trust?
Yes, and it's a great idea. It's a great segue into how personal Halloween poetry is. I think a lot of people think, oh, it's about the season. Oh, it's about the holiday. Oh, it's about the costumes. No, it's also about the human struggle.
Oh,
Jay-Z, this was
absolutely.
when Jay-Z had just gotten better with Beyonce. I think this is pre-Lemonade, and he was dealing with being the cuckold.
Yes.
And he
You know-
said,
Exactly.
I'm a monster.
Yes. I was actually involved in the writing of those verses. I wrote some
I
alternate
knew
verses.
you had.
I was there.
After I read Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong, Loch Ness, that screamed Sir Gravestone.
They
to
got
me.
everybody on that album. That is
Yes, they
great.
did.
That is
And
crazy.
there were some secret hidden verses that they didn't use. I had another one, which was very interesting.
Oh,
I
let's
said,
do it.
Cyclops, Harpy, Bigfoot, Gremlin. Didn't use it.
That was a full verse.
Yes, that was my pitch. I had
And
another
it's
one.
wrapped, so it's fast.
Yes.
It would be
I had-
over quite quickly.
I had
And that
another
would have
one.
been right after that point when it said, "What do all these things have in common?" Everybody
I'm
knows
a
I'm a
motherfucking
motherfucking
monster.
monster.
And then
it would
you'd
say
hit him
Cyclops,
again.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, absolutely.
List 4 more, and then he's done.
That was my pitch.
It's over.
Add 4 more, and I said, or add 8 more. And so then I said,
Yes.
and then I said, Grim Reaper, a little ghost, big pumpkin, and finally, witch.
And you wanted him to say all those filler words.
Yes,
And
I
that's
wanted
the
to say,
blow.
and finally,
you always
and
gotta
finally,
end
witch.
on which.
And finally, witch. Yes.
That's
This
correct.
reminds me, I've been doing a lot of work with Billie Eilish because she wants to be spooky all the time.
I've been doing
Yeah.
similar, but with Billy Eichner. Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, that's incredible.
I've been doing a lot of work with Bill de Blasio.
So I'm dying to know what Billie Eichner is doing to be
I'm
spooky.
dying to know Billie Eilish.
Well, you know Billie Eilish. It's always little poetry like this. Bad girl. You know? It's like, it's very, it's spooky, scary with a feminine touch. And that's me, baby. That's me. So she'll bring me in. She'll be talking about her breakup. And then I'll say, what about blood? Ah! And then she'll sing it and it sounds gorgeous. So that's another avenue for poetry, Halloween poetry, is
Well, that was
songwriting.
sort of. I do got to hear a little bit about Billy Eichner, though. That was sort of the trick. Let's get the treat.
Let's
What
get
is
the
Billy
treat.
Eichner doing?
Honestly, I
didn't know-
respect that.
I didn't know he was working in the Halloween realm. Like this is.
No,
I was
I
a big fan of
I
Billy
saw
on the
Bros.
Street.
I saw Bros, and I wasn't spooked out
And
at all.
yeah, it was.
I rented out a theater to watch Bros. It was fantastic.
Not enough skeletons in Bros.
And that was the feedback. That was the network feedback, basically. After Bros, he watched it. A lot of people watched it, said not spooky enough. I got to call in a specialist here. So I've been working with Billy Eichner just to make his overall thing more spooky, just to lean into more wearing black, eyeliner. When he's kind of revamped Billy on the Street, but it's going to be spooky on the street. And he's just kind of going to yell at people this time. And you
This
know, bring
time?
ravens. This time. Well, last time he felt like he was too calm.
Did you help him in his performance of American Crime Story Impeachment? His performance was very spooky.
As the Drudge Report man.
Yes, that was a spooky performance.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to make the Dredge Report, which is a kind of spooky part of water. But they didn't like my direction after pitching it, and they didn't want to work with me.
Well, and now I must simply know, Senator, what you are doing spooky-wise with Bill de Blasio.
Trick, treat, and bedtime.
Yes, tricky
Well-
Trick treat bedtime.
After politics. Bedtime. He's done with politics. He wants to make candy corn pants. And so we haven't really talked about candy very much, but he wants some, so he's launching candy corn pants, and he wants a poem to go along with the pants line. He's getting really into some like modern viral marketing techniques. He wants it to be like, you know how you open up a Snapple can and then there's a different joke on each one? He wants there to be a different Halloween poem in each of the tags of the candy corn pants.
Interesting.
And you can barely call them poems because honestly, he writes them all. And
You're just
Senator-
insulting.
Senator,
I'm consulting.
Senator, what you are describing sounds like a manic episode. And I'm wondering if Bill de Blasio has anybody in his life that might be sitting him down and saying, hey, you used to be mayor of New York City.
Yes.
Maybe you shouldn't be making candy corn pants.
And
Little poems in the tag.
little poem. That sounds less like he needs a Halloween poet and more like he needs a wellness check.
This is why money is sometimes a
needs
curse.
a Halloween poet. I think we can all admit that. Nobody needs one. You never need one. You can want one.
I say boo to
Ask
that.
for one.
I'm sorry, is he paying you union rate for this?
Yes, I'm being paid.
He's paying
handsomely.
$70,000 for this?
Yes, for each one.
Can I ask, are
Just
the pants
to read them.
are the pants in candy corn shapes or are there candy corns on the pants?
No, it's candy corns on the pants. So
Oh,
I
goodness.
talked
That's
him
worse.
down to
That's
that.
worse.
I talked him down to that. Originally, he wanted to be each leg was a candy corn.
I'm going to be
And-
honest.
But the problem.
No, you should have done that, Senator. Because
Much
that
easier.
could be made out of cloth. You shouldn't have talked him away from that. That is makeable. These people, you're going to be selling candy pants? Real candy pants.
So, full disclosure, I'm also having a manic episode. Bill and I kind of, we get together and we have them together. We sort of wait out the storm.
Okay.
And we've
What-
made a lot of money that way.
I will say I wanted to bring up, I think this is maybe one of the biggest pitfalls of our industry is we get many jobs and find out that they are, in fact, part of someone's manic episode, right? Somebody.
Yes.
We are not a normal industry. So when people find us, sometimes they are not in the greatest mental health. So how do you, and I've had to turn down many jobs to say, I'm so sorry, you actually do not need a Halloween poet, you need a wellness check. And
Yes,
I'm wondering other people's jobs. I was hired by Ray Bradbury to write a Halloween poem on every rose petal for his daughter's wedding. And I
He's
told
just
him,
sad he had to give her away.
yes, I said, I think you're dealing with something else, my friend. And poetry's not
He
going to fill that hole.
outsourced his writing. You'd think he would write that.
Well, that's
He's
when
an
I knew
author.
Ray would do it Ray would write all sorts of stuff every day. He was very prolific. So when he hired someone else to do it, I thought, oh, this is dangerous.
You thought, oh no.
Yeah.
Drake wanted me to fire him out of a cannon.
Okay.
Which is circus, not necessarily. Did you
is
tell him it's
circus?
more circus than Halloween?
I said, I'm sorry, this is a little bit more circus than Halloween.
Good for
and,
you.
And I need to have some sort of Halloween tie-in.
Good for you.
In order to not get in trouble with the union.
Yeah.
And so basically he just said pumpkin as he got shot out of the cannon.
Yes.
That's
Oh, he
I
said
wrote-
that's the loophole. You can say pumpkin and it counts.
I'm like, listen, I get this. If you gotta do what you gotta do, I'll take the check. That's
Yes.
fine. If you could just, I can't get in trouble for this. If you could just say pumpkin as you, and he fucking didn't do it. I am paying out the
my
ass
goodness.
for it.
I'm glad he didn't
yeah.
go the demented route. When I tell someone to make something Halloween and they just say, "Oh, it's demented this," I go, "That's not Halloween necessarily," and I hate that. Yeah.
Oh yes, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, no. Anne Hathaway wanted me to teach her magic. She was very confused
Okay.
about what we do. So it was not good. It was not a good situation.
No.
To be fair, I think we all have really bad websites. That's something I
Yes.
could say about us. Is that
Well, that's a
they-
union rule, and it might be time to get into the
Well,
union
show
rules.
me a good Halloween poet's website. Show me.
Well,
I dare you.
We
We're
should
gonna
talk.
legally have them.
We should talk about union rules. This is in the new contract. They are trying to force every Halloween poet to get rid of JavaScript on their websites. And I think that is a sin. I think that's
Ridiculous.
awful.
I think it's a terrible idea.
JavaScript doesn't work anymore anyway. It went defunct
How
in 2015,
spooky.
but I'm still pissed.
I love
How
JavaScript.
terrifying. How terrifying.
It's crazy.
Java is the scariest of hot beverages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All of our websites
Yes.
are mandatory. You have to have one GIF type of bat somewhere around the website. At least one. Most of us have 7 to
And
8.
it
slows
can't
down the whole-
load all the way.
Yes, and in the contract, you need to enter the website 3 times. So you have to give permission, you have to give Boo permission, and then you have to give Pumpkin permission, and then you get
Yeah.
into the website.
And then also we have to give camera permission. We're allowed to,
Yes,
every one of our
camera
websites are allowed to take control of your webcam.
You
And
have
there
to allow mic and camera.
Yeah. There has to.
See, that's
This is non-negotiable. There has to be an ad that shows what Honey Boo Boo's mom looks like now. It is absolutely required.
And the union has argued this and argued this.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's never going to work.
I
Well,
mean,
that's
let's talk
one of
about
the
the
union
future.
rules.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about exciting things coming up.
Well, we should discuss the union. We did say that was going to be our choice.
I'm
Yes,
so
let's do
sorry.
the union
I'm so
rules.
sorry. I'm
The
so
union
sorry.
is providing a lot of exciting things, though. This new contract that just got negotiated
you, Mike.
is honestly huge in many ways.
Well, Mickey, you were on the negotiating committee, were you not?
I was on the negotiating committee, and I'm very proud.
Thank you.
of all
Thank
of the-
you.
Thank you
It
for
was-
your service, my lad.
Thank you.
Thank you. I tip my hat to you.
And
Yes.
round the gratitude goes, down the hole, through the top.
Maya
We
Angelou.
were really round the hole through the top. No, but we got a lot of things. I mean, we extended our break period, so we got that up to 365 days, as we said.
Yes. No, we don't have to work. Only on the leap year do we have to work now.
Yes, once every
And it's when
four.
the clock strikes midnight, you have to stop working. It is just union laws. It's what you have to do.
Well, if you can hear if the clock tolls midnight, that's the distinction. So if you hear the ding, 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 then you have to stop. But if you're in an area where the clock's not tolling, well, good luck.
Well, I loved I loved your good luck. Good luck.
Good luck is the scariest phrase.
It is.
Oh, good luck.
I loved Mickey. You really were pushing for a Raven quota this
Yes.
year, which I
Yes.
thought I kind of pushed back on, but I understood why. I mean, you come from the commercial kind of big money sector, and people are asking for Ravens these days. You know.
I understand that the finances around ravens in poems is always something in flux and always very confusing. But there's fundamentals to this that I think every good poem has to have at least one raven in it. This was something that I do, and I know that was coming from the executives, but I do agree with it. I think that there is good in having at least one raven per poem. Because ravens sell, this is what you want to get. So even if it's just a small reference, there's art and there's form here, so we have to include the raven. And trust me, they were asking for a lot of crazier shit.
Now
They were asking for, can we? Like, they were asking for stuff that wasn't even spooky.
Oh no,
Like
they
what?
what?
What were they asking for?
Well, so we all know how they want to add can we talk about the beach? I said absolutely not. We're not talking about the beach in this.
Executives always want you to talk about the beach.
They're
Well,
always
because the beach is
wanting-
always they teens love the beach. Teens love the beach. Can you include the beach in that? And I say no. There's no fucking way I'm going to put a beach in my Halloween poem.
Thank
Who
you for fighting
suggested that? Was that Bog Iger of Disney Plus?
It was Bug Iger of Disney Plus,
I knew it.
but it was a lot of them actually. Scaramount was on the whole thing.
Scaramount?
Scarrow, Lambard, Spooky.
David Zaz, Spooky.
Ted
Net-
Scarandos.
Wait, no. What's that?
Yuck.
I
Yuck.
appreciate
I said
the way you.
Ted Scarandos.
I appreciate the way you caved on startleficial intelligence.
No.
It was tough to see you guys cave on startleficial intelligence,
That was
which is,
But
as we
it's
all
fair.
know, it's the intelligence. It's a smart computer that kind of registers how people get startled, not scared, startled.
No, it generates startles in your poems without you asking.
Yes. And this is why it's so good we're having this meeting and we're talking about it, because the last thing I want to do is bloody gross scab. You know? A bloody gross
To
scab.
be a bloody gross scab for sure is.
No, I'd hate that.
A lot of people with bloody gross scavenger, and I want to say that the scared official intelligence.
Startificial
Startleficial
intelligence.
intelligence.
Sorry, we've been in the contracts changing up what it calls. It's artificial intelligence. This is a framework, okay? Listen, if the writer of the Halloween poem agrees to use artificial intelligence, it is okay. That's fine.
Okay, but all I'm
But
saying
we're building
is...
a framework.
Yes,
We're building a framework.
But Mickey, can the studios pressure us to use it? That's
Yes.
what we're wondering. That's
And
what
my-
we
want to
wondering.
know.
My bigger thing is, how on earth do you startle someone in a poem? Do you add the word what do you do here to startle someone in a red thing?
This
That's
is why
my
I disagree
thing.
with it. I've seen what they're trying to do. They're changing the font color. They turn the color of certain words red. And I don't like
how
it.
dare they? How dare they?
I don't like it.
They got that from other poems. Other poems
Yes.
use red font, and that's how this artificial intelligence got it.
My
Okay,
good
if we're
friend,
talking
my
about
good friend, my good friend, Halloween poet Eek Cummings. He used to do that all the time.
Okay, you know what?
What
we're
about a
in the-
concrete poem shaped like a pumpkin? That's one. You could
What
do
about
that.
that? What about
And a
that?
computer could never do that. There's perfect ways to startle a person all by yourself.
Oh, Mickey, I don't know. If we're going
I'm
through
s-
this, we might as well talk about residuals.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Residuals.
Residuals.
Let's talk about residuals.
Because we have not been getting residuals on creeping,
No.
on
Because
screeching.
the
on
rules...
creeping.
The residuals on creeping.
Because I wrote a Halloween poem for the Halloween episode of Gilmore Girls back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They approached me because I was a young girl back in the day, meaning I was in 5th grade, and I have not seen one residual since.
Well, and the
Yeah.
rule used to be, if you write one poem on Halloween, you get paid twice as much for the same poem a year later, and then twice as much as that a year later. So in 4 years, you're getting 16 times as much because you don't work the rest of the year. That's the agreement.
And
It
that's what I
appreciates like
push
a
for.
wine.
I would rather the union go back to how they negotiated in the past. Blood pacts and oaths. It was kind of a luck of the draw, a lot of mystifying. Oh, if the clock strikes 11:30 and you're in this place, you die or you get a poem. I like that. It kind of plays into it rather
It
than what
was
they're
good,
doing
but
now.
that era is not around anymore. Streaming services came around. It's completely over. You're holding on to a past vibe.
That's what it's called.
Not creeping,
service.
screaming services.
Streaming services.
It's streaming services.
Thank God I didn't change the
Yeah.
subject off of the
Yeah, no,
unions
definitely,
because I'm
yeah.
getting so much information.
No, it's true. The times are changing. You know, it's that you've got all these Halloween poets on TikTok, and
Oh.
they're making it big, and they're getting TV shows right away. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you're not ready to write a poem for network TV.
But this
I'll
is
say
so
it,
good.
though.
This
Half of those-
podcast is so good because we are telling people kind of the line. You become a Halloween poet and you get a TV show.
But I'll tell you this.
Usually how it works.
I disagree because those Halloween.
You get a TV show. It's the pipeline. You go from Halloween poet and then you get a TV show.
you pay your dues. Well, of course, you do the, as we've established, Halloween poet open mic nights. You then get a TV show, and then you hang around in colleges until you die.
Yes, and you apply for a
correct.
conservatory. Don't
And then when
forget
you
that.
die, you fucking bother me in my dreams.
Oh.
What other poets do you see in your dreams? Are you seeing actual Halloween poets?
Yes, I'm seeing Edgar. Edgar's coming up all the time. Edgar does that two for flinching kind of thing where he like waves his hand up. I know he's always and he was put his fingers by his nuts all the time, and he's always like, two for looking. Stuff
Oh,
like
what
that.
I would give.
For Edgar, no, he's not that nice.
Wow.
He's not.
Wow.
Nice.
Listen, I'm sorry I got upset about the negotiations.
It's a tough time. It's a tough time.
It's okay.
It's a
It's
tough
okay.
time.
She Edgar, I think you had a point that we kept talking over and over.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
Now that's
You
scary.
honestly, I don't remember. You started talking about Edgar Allan Poe's balls, and I lost my train of thought. My favorite set of pumpkins.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
The future is looking very strong, though. There's young new poets. There's lots of new scary things to write poems about. And I think that there's going to be a brand new renaissance of Halloween poems. I think it's...
And a dread to that.
A dredge, if you will, because that's the spooky part of water for me. Do you guys have, this is what I wanted to ask because we're all finally in this room together and it feels like we're coming to an end here. I would just love a preview of the new poem that you guys are working on, personally.
Yes.
I know you guys cannot stop working, even though Union commands that you can't. So let me know. I just want to hear it, if that's all right.
I
Well,
will
I'll
also
give you
say,
a s-
I just want to say
Go
before
ahead.
we get into this, Mickey, I really hope that you do get negotiations covered by this Halloween, because I can't go through another entire year of negotiations. I really,
It's
really hope.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know that
It's
if you don't
coming
sell it by October, you have to go a whole other year to the next one. So please.
And half of the
Whatever you
union
have to
members become bats.
Yes.
It's an old thing in the union.
No wonder
Um,
why our most successful person on this panel is 88 years old.
Yes, what can I say?
So yeah, if anybody has some poetry, I'd love to hear it.
I can give you half of my new poem.
Ooh, do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Black cats give me quite a fright. Ones you shall see on Halloween. And that's it. That's all I'll give you.
So that's half.
It's half the poem.
Yes, that's half.
Okay,
that's
couple
half.
things. It's your perspective too. It's an opinion that you have on black cats. I loved it. Where are you gonna release this? Just personally, or are you gonna?
No, I'm giving it to Clooney. He's begging for it.
Inspired work,
He likes
Senator.
the
Inspired work.
POV opinion feelings of cats.
He loves POV opinions. I want to hear everyone's poems.
I am working on a collaboration, so I bit the bullet. I bought a new house and I'm trying to pay that off. I am doing.
I
a
get your
Marvel-
tone now. I get your tone. Keep going.
I made a Marvel Halloween poem. I'm collaborating with Marvel. They're doing a new set of Halloween poems, and frankly, I think they're going to be very good. It's using existing IP and then having Halloween poems exist with them.
Ooh, like the Dua Lipa of movies.
Sort of, in many ways, like the Dua Lipa. Of
Exactly.
movies. I don't want to give away too much. I mean, Disney would be absolutely floored if I gave you anything else. But let me see. I'm looking at. I have it up on my wall right here. The stuff that I'm working on. Hulk smash Iron Man. Iron Man smash Hawkeye. Hawkeye smash Loki. Loki smash Spider-Man.
Are these stage directions?
Or are they smash or pass? Are you playing that college game, smash or pass?
I'm reading it sort of in an artistic, poetic way, but it's based on a TikTok where people did a smash or pass of Avengers characters. Disney bought the rights to this TikTok, and they're sort of like, can you make it poetic? So what I did is I kind of switched the syntax a little bit.
And
So
I
you
got
just took out the word pass, and then now it's a poem.
I got so much Halloween vibes from it too.
Oh, it was so
Loki, Hulk, Spider-Man, the word smash. I mean, these are all very Halloween things.
Yes. I'll go. Instead of, maybe I'll do something that I'm actually working on right now. Round, the suggestions go. I'll do something that I've been working on, which is a new line of, Dina Von Teese is doing a line of spooky, dark-colored nail polish, and I'm writing
thank
a
God.
couple titles. Yes,
Thank God.
Yes. Okay, here's a couple of them. These are just my notes app. Broomstick Puppy Brown. Or,
Broomstick Puppy Brown.
And this is the protagonist of the script.
Is the broomstick or the puppy brown? Or is it what you feel?
it's a color, it's a shade of brown nail polish.
Got it.
Okay,
Broomstick Puppy
werewolf
So
goblin.
broomstick would be describing the puppy, and puppy would be describing the brown.
The brown.
You take it whatever way you want.
This nail polish is brown, like a broomstick puppy.
Like a broomstick puppy. Exactly. I just wanted to
Now
clarify
that's
that.
scary.
Like a puppy broomstick. Okay. My next one is werewolf goblin mummy green.
Okay, let's just give us a second to parse these out a little
Yes.
bit.
Werewolf, goblin, mummy,
Mummy,
green.
mummy, green.
Now, are the mummies green too? Because I can see.
It's a werewolf goblin shade of green mummy.
Okay, so that changes it.
Okay.
Yeah. So werewolf green. So werewolf adjective, mummy, or sorry, werewolf adverb, mummy adjective, green noun. So
then
the green is
lastly-
werewolf mummy,
yes.
or werewolf what was
Oh,
it?
please. Keep up. Keep up, okay?
Keep going.
And lastly, fangs off-white.
That makes sense to me.
Very good.
That's
Crystal
very
clear.
clear.
Very good. Very good. That was very good.
Go ahead, sir. Gravestone.
I do have a poem that I hope is not my last poem, but it certainly feels like it might be.
Oh no,
I can read it.
Please.
we'd be honored.
Your last poem? That's crazy.
I hope not. I hope
course,
not,
of
but
course.
how many Halloweens must I do? Who's that knocking at the door? I hear a knock and I wonder whose hand it belongs to. I look towards the door and I look in fear. There's something waiting. What shall be waiting? Is it waiting to receive? A candy, a treat, a sneak, a snack, a snook? Or is it waiting to gain? Something from me, something in my heart, something in my brain. Is it looking to take from me? Or am I looking to give to it? What is it? I open the door. Fear, aghast, look, wonder, what is happening? Cyclops, Bigfoot, little girl, gremlin.
Boo!
That was good. It was a.
Thank you. Oh, it's so nice to be booed like this. Oh,
She-boo! She-boo!
She-boo.
I hope
And
you
that
can.
was great because it was
Yeah.
spooky, but then I think it turned into kids trick-or-treating. That's
Well, at the
really
very
what it
end, I
was.
don't know if you noticed, I used some of the unused verse from Jay-Z's Monster. at
Oh,
the
we
end of it.
noticed. We
Yes,
really
I don't know if you
noticed.
Oh,
We got this.
my astute ears picked up on Jay-Z's unused verse from Monster.
I can't.
Round and round, Pete. You are the last, but not
Oh,
least.
guys. Oh, my gosh. This is so embarrassing. Well, I don't really write anything down. It just kind of channels out of me. Oh, I forgot to tell. I kind of channel things out of me. It's like kind of go to this.
In the shadow night where darkness creeps, when the harvest moon in the sky leaps, ghosts and goblins begin to play on this eerie enchanting day. Will you be forgotten or not? Will you make sure you hung the vaught? I slaff 'em, kiss your parents goodnight, good luck.
Oh my God, there's so many bats.
Sorry, guys. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
What was
my
so
God.
creepy about that was the way you were holding your little hair.
That was the creepy part? Good. Okay, good to know.
I cannot believe
And
you
the
didn't tell us.
poem.
I can't believe you didn't tell us about this until the very end. I would have spent so much more
I
time
always
talking
forget to
about
bring
that.
it up. I forgot to bring it up.
Okay.
When my parents died, I started enchanting things, and that's why you have like a weird Batman or Halloween poem choice, and that's why I went to Halloween poetry.
Pete
'Cause
Monster
Bat-
Tomb, that was absolutely fucking terrifying. That was just absolutely like everything. The whole room turned green. I'm absolutely floored that happened.
Oh, thanks, guys. I hope I didn't break union rules by making it too scary that one of you died.
No, it looks like everyone here is good.
No,
is everyone good?
We're all. I feel okay.
Wait,
I feel okay.
Sir Gravestone.
Sir Gravestone?
Sir Gravestone.
No, she's having a dream. Are you?
Sir Gravestone, before you die, let me read you poetry before your slumber. Crow vampire red with sparkles?
Read another poem. Read something better.
Somebody quick.
Please.
Spider-Man. 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 Beautiful Spider-Man.
No, read some art. Read classic art. Haven't any of you written the art?
Pumpkins fall across a fright, all upon a Halloween. What?
You won't spoil the poem for me. I'm dying. You won't.
Sorry.
I'm tied
Enchant-
up. Clooney's. I'm tied up with him.
That's
I have one-
blue.
Why was the skeleton sad going to the movies?
Channel something. Why are you doing
He
a
had
joke?
no body to go with.
No,
Sorry,
you-
I can't channel on command.
Come on. I'm dying. This can't be the last thing I hear.
I have one poem, but I've never read it to anyone in my entire life. But I can't read that one.
Read it. Emily.
Read it.
Emily
Come
Bronte,
on.
I'm
It's too
coming.
s-
Emily Bronte's pulling me
Quick,
by the nape of my neck.
Emily Bronte is so
woman!
boring and problematic. Come on, read it.
All around the Hollows night, people look for a scary fright. Goblins, ghouls, and kids galore knocking at my chamber door. I look to my left, I look to my right. Oh, I'm ready for a spooky fright. Witches, goblins, ghouls, and me. Are we such a family? Trick-or-treat night, candy 8. Have a Halloween and make it great.
Oh,
It's stupid. It's
listen. Thank you. Fight the good fight and have a good night.
It
So
didn't work. He
Gravestone-
died.
It
That
made
poem
him
sucked
die.
to die. Your poem killed him. Your poem killed him.
I've never said that poem to anybody before.
I'm so sorry. It killed
I feel like
somebody.
Keep that
It was
shit to
too
your
spooky.
fucking self next time.
I feel like if you're taking notes, you should add, I'm a motherfucking monster at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody freestyle. Get us out of here. 2, 3, 4. Goblins.
Gremlins.
Big old pumpkin.
Skeleton.
Spooky.
Skeleton
Gargoyles.
witch. Newts and crabs.
Bats.
Newts and crabs.
This has been Artist on Artist on Artist on Artist answering the question. Now that's why they call it spooky show business. Good night.
Halloween poets are real.
Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists is an improvised Hollywood roundtable podcast created, performed, and produced by Kylie Brakeman, Jeremy Colhane, Angela Giartana, and Patrick McDonald. Music is by Gabriel Ponton. The opinions expressed in this podcast do not reflect the opinions of anyone who works on it. Full video versions of AOA are available on YouTube, so please like and subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Good night, Hollywood.